Hey there, how are you doing? Welcome. I hope you're having a good time, a good day, good evening, whenever. This week we're gonna be doing things differently. Spirit is coming in hot saying we ain't got no time, no more time to be wasting. So yeah, this one is gonna be a little different. We're gonna start with channeling. It's gonna probably end up with a pick a card I'm hearing, but basically the concept, the truest intention of this video is truly that it will reach the newest batch of Earth Angels ready to really start kicking asses. It's not the newest batch of Earth Angels in this way then, but more, yeah, the ones which are ready to really get into the work, basically get into it and really start opening up more and more to why they came here. So I know that this video is probably gonna reach the masses, but not any kind of masses, because although there are plenty of light beings around the world, not all are here for that. So if you're here, first message I'm hearing is like, if you're here, congratulations. That says a lot about your frequency. That says a lot about just the fact you can understand these things says a lot about your awareness, you know? So that is already, yeah, just a congrats for you, for your presence. Not congratulations because you found the video, but because it appeared in your experience more this way. But yeah, I do not have the energy. I'm just gonna comment down to you guys. I don't have the energy to be doing an actual pick a card reading. I am not at all in a mental space to be able to like just yeah, do the regular pick a card. That's why we're just gonna be channeling all the way through. Especially that I feel that there are quite some entities like knocking at the door saying, "Hey, got some things to say." So we're just gonna go with that instead. So yeah, if you're here, welcome, congratulations that you made it this far, that you made it to this video, and well, make yourself comfortable, for I don't know how long this video is gonna last. So there you go. I'm gonna start with the stirrers, gonna help me put myself in the mood. But yeah, whole point is there are like this channel message comes in the context of people, angels specifically, which are experiencing the end of a timeline. The end of a timeline, and a bit of a rocky, intense transition into the next. What is happening is that, yeah, a lot of angels are currently getting activated all around the world, because this is just according to the plan of this world and what we agreed to come here. But it's intense because we are releasing a lot. That card I kept out because as I was shuffling and refreshing the decks that I do always before like turning on the camera, this one just stuck out, so you know what, here it is. But it's very much like the theme of today. There's a huge purge going on. And you know, before I was like, oh yeah, but that's a collective thing. To a certain sense, yes, it is. Not the same kind of purge we're talking about today. No, we're really talking about those energy workers, those who are very familiar with the light, whose natural habitat is heavens, you know, not any kind of those. Well, they're going through it right now. Especially again, like the newest batch ready to, I just keep on hearing this metaphor of the newest batch ready to come into the arena, which is quite a interesting way to put it. There is this huge purge because it's like we're releasing all that stands in the way. You always know that. That is not new in the slightest. But the thing is, yeah, like we're emptying a truckload of stuff right now. We're just letting go of a truckload of stuff, and that feels intense. That really feels intense, and it's in this context that this channel message is coming in. So now, if you just give me a second, I'm gonna tune in. Yeah, there's just so much love and appreciation for you having come this far. Honestly, so much love and appreciation for you not even having realized how much love, how much light, and how much abundance you've been carrying around. And I'm hearing, to those curious, all of this contrast was necessary. You wouldn't know how to transmute the darkness and understand the 3D world as with this much depth if you weren't part of the experience yourself. You had to experience it so as to fine tune your abilities to transmute and better understand. What better way to understand the dark than to being born in it, right? And that's very much what a lot of us in this batch have been experiencing, like a really intense experience to start things off in this life. And we've been transmuting a lot and we're continuing to do so, but right now there's like, it feels almost like a rush to the finish line. It's not a finish line. It appears like it. It's very much not a finish line. It's very much a beginning, but the beginning of something completely new, beginning of something that the mind doesn't understand quite yet. It's really the beginning of you truly enacting why you came here. Not to say that you weren't so far, because you've been enacting this ever since the day you were born. You're here to bring the light, the joy, the love, the abundance, to inspire, to uplift, to assist in the ascension, and that you've been doing by virtue of existing ever since you were born on this world. So in this sense, it's not new, but there's this shift in your approach to it, so to speak, and this has something like there's a huge emphasis on what you're spending your time doing. So yes, it deals with career, with, for many of us, not all, but it's very much what you're spending your energy, what you're feeding your energy into on a daily basis. But in order to really do that, we needed some knowledge about how things are done currently. That's why we had to go through everything we've gone through, and also in order to completely focus onto the mission, which your purpose and God's will are very much intertwined. You cannot really describe it as God's will because it's very much your purpose. You cannot really describe it as your purpose. It's God's will. It's one in the same, really, especially when we're talking about such high frequencies. It's like, there is no separation between such things. It's very much one in the same. In order to fully embody it, well, now we need to come to terms with the biggest chunk of lessons, so to speak. We've been learning a lot. Yeah, it's time to put an end to all of this. Not to say that it's going to be forever the end. No, life doesn't stop. We came here also primarily to have fun, because that's one of the premises of this world. But this is why, in this context, we're experiencing a huge release. But we're talking like, yes, the collective is experiencing a release that you have noticed all around. The thing that we're here experiencing, oh my god, it's not on the same level. It's not the same intensity, right? That is really giving us all of the tools, all of the understanding, all of the knowledge, so as to be freaking rocket, like masters, like the master you were born to be. And this is very much, yeah, again, it's in this context, so it's obvious that we would feel intense. That's why this video found you at this time, because we've already discussed then. Where do we take it from here now, Spirit? Gonna draw some cards, because I'm not completely in it just yet. Yeah, okay. We're gonna be channeling, of course, we're gonna be channeling a few random messages. The purpose of these messages isn't so much for you to listen to words. So much for you to bathe in the energy, because this video is gonna also act as a form of activation somehow. Sure. Oh my god, yeah, plenty of things, plenty of cards flying out, but they make sense. Yeah, we're really getting into it now. Yeah, back of the deck energy is Five of Cups. We're releasing, we're grieving, we're letting go. There's this big energy in the collective, especially of the light beings, when it comes to the descending soul. One thing first to mention is something that was very relevant in my experience recently. Do you know the difference between an ascending soul and a descending soul? Because perhaps that is actually relevant for some. You know, there are some souls that come to this world to explore life. There are some souls which are really like digging into the karmic loop of reintegration so as to learn, because Earth is a beautiful school for expansion. if you want to put it this way. So there are many souls which are like ascending, so to speak, some souls which are not so interested still in this, and there are souls which are not ascending at all, they're descending. These are the souls which are not part of this game and volunteered to come back so as to assist those which are currently ascending. They've always been, but they're basically playing the role of a physical spirit guide, so to speak. Spirit guide in human form. This is what we call the Earth Angels. They're descending souls. So it is very clear for you to understand that you're not actually healing karmic cycles. You are clearing out the way for the remembrance, but that is also why you're realizing that somehow you can look around yourself and see that, yeah, there are some people which are definitely learning in this lifetime about this big lesson and that big lesson. When it comes to you, you can reintegrate some huge things, really significant things, and yet still feel like it's just one pebble along the way. Yeah, because all of these things you already learned. And for those who may feel a little frustrated then, understand that the purpose isn't ascension. It's for you to remember that you are ascended. It's for you to remember why the frick you came here. You didn't come here to ascend. That is already done. You've done that plenty of times in past lives. That is not the reason to why you're here. The reason of this play with the darkness is for you to really fully activate why you came here. Yes, you had to forget it all so as to make it sense. Otherwise, life on Earth wouldn't make a lot of sense. But this purge, this healing journey, understand it's healing with some quotes. Because although the human you may have these wounds, the spirit has already learned this lesson 1,000 times over. That's why you tend to call old souls, but in this case we're very much talking about Earth Angels. That context needs to be set and put for some, understanding that you are not ascending in this lifetime. This is not the reason to why you're here. And this is also why in this community of Earth Angels, you will notice that Earth Angels tend to have a bit of a grudge against some people in the spiritual field who are very much about, obsessively, compulsively talking about ascension and developing your spiritual gifts and spirituality this and spirituality that. You will notice that a lot of Earth Angels are not concerned with spirituality in the first sense. It's just their nature, but they'll never talk openly about spirituality with strangers because that's just not their focus. It's like, yeah, they get labeled as spiritual beings because this is just a fundamental core part of them. But this isn't the reason to why they're here. This is why they don't resonate with people who are obsessed with ascension and spirituality, because this is just not what they're here for. They're here for the fun and they're here for the assisting. They're not here for that game themselves. They've already played it countless times. That is a nuance that needs to be set already. That is activating in and of itself, but that needs to be said. Now, got the Ten of Swords, which popped out already while I was shuffling before turning on the camera. That is clearly, it's like we're at the end of a timeline again. This is why it feels so dreadful, I'm hearing, although that's very much not the point. It feels very intense for the mind. It feels very intense because there's a lot coming out. And yeah, that intensity is your sign that, hey, we're coming to an end. It's the life as you've known it is coming to an end. Now we're opening up for the higher self to lead the way. Another thing, plenty of people dedicate their entire lives to one day reunite with their higher self. Understand that that's not Earth Angel's job at all. It's you slip into the perspective of your higher self without even realizing. You call it channeling, you call it inspiration, you call it being in your creative flow, you call it whatever you want, really. The whole point is that is second nature to you. And that is not, like all of these objectives, that is again a nuance that needs to be made, that needs to be understood. You're not here so as to work your way so as to become happy. You're not here so as to become spiritual. This is your baseline. You're not here to experience heavens on earth. No, this is your natural state. It just so happens that in order to further enact why you came here, we have to come back to it now. That's why we're purging. Beautiful things that I'm seeing is a lot of feminine energy. That is very, very cool. Very interesting to see also like such a heavy focus on the feminine. But we have like all the qualities of the feminine going through. We got like the Empress, which is entirely the personification, the cartification of feminine energy, of the divine feminine. But we got the Moon, we got the High Priestess, we got the Queen of Pentacles. I mean, we got them all, to be honest. And that feminine energy is really showing us coming back in a state of stopping to try to push so hard. Another thing, yeah, we're having a crash course 101 on Earth Angeling, but that is again necessary for the activation. Is the reason to why life feels so difficult and as if you need to push through so much is because that's not how you function. You've never functioned this way. That's why it feels so difficult when you try to do it this way. You're not here to move mountain by pushing it. You're here to entrain. You're not moving energy by pushing a wall. You're here by entraining a wall. And that is very much like the shift which is happening, where like the word is just like the stop sign on the road. It's like, stop. We're not doing that anymore. That's not how it hasn't worked for you. You've tried it because that's how you were taught and blah blah blah. You had to experience it, otherwise you wouldn't understand why the frick you're here in the first place. But now we understand, okay, like we're past that now. We're not here to make it work. We're here to enhance its working. We're here to play with it. We're not here to make it work. We're not here to push it into motion. We're not here to push it into action. We're not here to push it to control it so as to make it work. Nah. We're past that. That feminine energy is very much like the receptive state when we are one with all, when we understand when to move, when not to move, when we are deeply aligned with our inner world, the Moon. Yes, you're sensitive. That is a beautiful gift. Another thing to be about Angeling 101, Earth Angeling 101, sensitivity. Yeah, Earth Angels tends to be extremely sensitive. But how come that all people of high frequency are extremely sensitive? It's as if it was a freaking advantage. Well, yes, it is, because you see and you experience so much more. You get to see so much more, and you get to understand much, much more, whereas other people would try to push something into motion, it just doesn't work, and so they complain. You see exactly why it works, why it doesn't, and why and when to act, when not to act, how to put yourself in alignment, that you know, and you have such an advantage at it. Such an advantage. Well, yeah, you gave yourself some gifts. You ensured that would be a little easier. High Priestess, like through the roof intuition. Another very interesting thing is, like, is coming with the High Priestess is you're the one to define the rules in this lifetime. You've played by other people's rules. Again, you had to experience it. That was part of the contract. Otherwise, you wouldn't understand necessarily everything which is going on down there and how to best assist in this transition. So you had to become an expert of what other people are doing and believing in, as messed up as it may or may not be. But now it's really time for you to do it your way. You've tried big emphasis on the abundance with the Queen here, but you've tried to make it work one way or another by doing what you were told to do, basically. Yeah, you know more about that now. It's not gonna work out for long, will it? You're doing it your way. You are setting out the rules. You understandably grew up and believing, part of the job again, that things have to be made one way or another. That is so far from the truth. If you want it to work this way, it's gonna work this way. That's it. That's your power. That's how it works. That's not a question of belief. That's not a question of manifestation. That's not a question of believing and repeating every day. No, that's just how the world goes around. You can believe it, you can believe in it, or you can not believe in it. You can do whatever you want, but this world is going around anyways. You can align with it or you cannot align with it, but this world is going around anyways. You know that. This is just remembrance. This is just showing yourself that which you already know and that which you already are, so as to make this big purge a little lighter. That's how it feels. Yes, it's intense, but it's good to get reminded a few times a day why it's going on. No, we're not just darkness. That is not true. When we're exploring all of it, it feels like it. That's not the case. That's really not the case. But yeah, abundance, peace. But I mean the kind of peace that you haven't experienced in a while. True abundance, the kind of abundance where you know it comes from within. You're not chasing anything. You know. And so that's why you're abundant. Living life on your own terms, not in a rebellious kind of way. There's nothing rebellious about it, just a matter of understanding how things are done. You're not here to play by anyone else's rules. You're here to inspire the world, honey. You're here to let people know how things can be beautiful. You're here to show people how heavens can be. It's going to be difficult to show the world what heavens feels like if you're trying to mimic other people, the ones you're supposed to inspire. Understand is not going to go very, very far if you try that. So that is one thing. There are other messages too before we move on to a little pick a card. It feels like we're gonna be discussing a little bit of a pick a card, which will further activate those people. I feel like most of you will feel inspired to just watch the 3 piles that we're going to be layering. I'm going to really hold the intention that we don't have more than 10 minutes per pile. 5 minutes would be like beautiful. So I feel like most of you will watch the 3, but if you don't feel inspired, then you may directly watch the pile that you feel the most inspired to. The pick a card will be very much like a more what can you look forward when it comes to you. This is just helping you peek into your own dreams, basically, like helping you peek into, like making it impossible for you to ignore what's coming your way and what you already know, making it impossible for you to ignore your own dreams, understanding that your dreams are just visions of the future. They're not just the Lulu things, but that you already know, yet again. Yeah, we're ending there. Because of the powerful transmutation. Which deck, please? This one, okay. Because of the powerful transmutational powers that you have, this sentence didn't make any sense. That's okay. There's a big thing which comes here with, like, when it comes to, how to describe it? Like this card, atonement, unworthiness, or feeling like you're paying, that you're paying for the wrongdoings of someone else. But it really comes down to like worthiness and understanding that, yeah, we've accumulated a lot of things. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, guys. It's a little disarticulated for the moment. Spirit, please be clear. What's going on now? We're discussing like the final purge and why it's got so intense all of a sudden, because Earth Angels, we're realizing here that your power really comes when you, we got a lot of glare here, whatever. Your power really comes through when you are a master of your state of being, and that is realizing first and foremost that you're worth it, that you're worthy of it, just as you are. There is no amount of work, amount of self-bettering, or amount of possession, or amount of whatever your creative mind may think of, that will make you more worthy of that which you already want right now. Worthiness is infinite. Worthiness has never been put on the table. That's a very human thing to be discussing about, to be honest. But that again is a thing that we needed here to have an experience with, and so we're coming to an end with we're realizing that although we've experienced a lot of things that we took on our shoulders, we're done with them. It's not our responsibility. Our responsibility is for us to choose love, light, and abundance like we've always been choosing, and to show that to the world. Ascension, very fun card actually. It felt to the mind, to our minds currently, to this batch of, I'm hearing like, I'm really saying this metaphor of like, you know, when you go, when you're in high school, or maybe a little less in college, but when you're studying, you know, like you got all the different classes, and so you got like the I don't know in English how they qualify, but you got like the first grade, the second grade, the sixth grade, the I don't know how much grade, and it just feels like, yeah, like here we're activating at right now, this intensity is activating one of the classes of earth angels, so to speak. That batch that we're part of, okay? And to our minds, because we've been exploring the contrast for quite some years now, it feels like we're ascending. That's why first thing first we need to discuss about, okay, but hold on, sweet angel, do you know what ascension consists in? Do you understand what it is? Because it feels like an ascension. It's not. You're not ascending. You're not going anywhere. You're just opening your eyes. You're just coming home. It's like ascending. You're elevating. No, you're not going anywhere. You're already in heavens. You're just here opening up your eyes, raising, oh my God, I never left. No, you never. But you had to believe you did in order to understand why things are the way they are right now. If you hadn't gone through all of this, how the heck would you make sense of the supposed problems that humanity is currently experiencing? You had to experience them yourselves, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't blooming understand what the heck is going on. For a volunteering light being to understand truly what are the problems of beings which are vibrating at low frequencies so as to better assist them, well, you have to understand what they're experiencing and witness the world through their eyes. Otherwise, you will not be able to make sense of their experience, let alone help them. That's why we went through what we went through, and that's why right now it feels like an ascension. You're not ascending anywhere, sweetheart. You're not going anywhere. You're just opening up your eyes. You're coming back to your heart. Okay? We got a heart on that card too, actually. Can we see? Like, I don't know how well you see it, especially after YouTube compression, but we got a heart. Heart on fire. So we're coming back to heart, to our center, definitely. And that is from this place onwards that we're really starting to kick asses. Conqueror of Wands. That is just like, yeah, we're back, baby. We're just back. Especially that we got like the flame on the heart. It's very much like, we're back. We're back in the game. We had to go through this experience because otherwise we wouldn't blooming understand what the frick is going on. I'm hearing neurodivergency. The majority of us feel like complete strangers to this world. That's because, to a certain extent, it's kind of true. It's not true in the sense that you surely do belong here, otherwise you wouldn't be here. Of course, what kind of question would that be? But you do understand that, yeah, you don't recognize yourself in the frequencies that you may have been in contact with. We're coming back to heart. We're setting ablaze that which we truly are. And we're saying, you know what, I've explored it all. Thank you for all these lessons. Now I am so good at understanding why things are the way they are right now and how I can actually genuinely help. Because that's the thing, between parentheses, whenever we channel, like human channelers, whenever we entities of higher frequencies get channeled, sometimes one thing, as inspiring as it may be, sometimes it's a very situational thing, but you do observe it sometimes where like what is being channeled is very inspiring, but it feels completely a mess when it comes to the current circumstances, because it's like from a higher perspective, a lot of the quote-unquote problems that we may have on a lower perspective don't make sense. You know? So of course it's going to be empowering and inspiring, but sometimes you just gonna experience it yourself so as to better understand how to navigate it, right? That is why, again, we've been experiencing it. But closing that parenthesis, we're setting our heart ablaze, which is very much, we've earned it. Now it's our time, angels, earth angels from heavens, to show this world how it's done. Yeah, we understand how you've made it. Now we're going to show you how it's made. And this is very much the switch that is currently operating. We're setting the heart ablaze, we're purging everything that was in the way. Now it's our rules. Now we are the leaders. Now we claim the abundance. Now we get to decide how things are done. That is why it's exciting. That is why it's intense. Because the body may have been used to something else. Okay? But that means this one is going too. That means major abundance, major beautiful connections, a plethora of new people flowing into your life of much higher frequency, moving places, shifts in career, like holistic shifts of, but they're not just for the sake of, oh, because that's fun. It's no, we're just recalibrating it to a much closer frequency to home, so to speak. We're recalibrating, we're elevating, we're like pushing all the buttons up, we're recalibrating everything upwards so as to bring ourselves back home from that place, making it way easier for us to, well, show the world what it's like to be home. But understand that, yeah, if you want to, if it's time for you to act on this inspiration, to follow up, to follow through rather with this thing, well, obviously, yeah, we have to act from our heart. We have to act from the place of inspiration. We have to act from heavens. You cannot inspire heavens without like showing it yourself. We're showing through example. We're not just talking about it, if it makes sense. Whew, so that was one thing. Now we're gonna be shuffling cards for the sake of making like the 3 pick a card, like the mini micro pick a card reading. I don't know what's the point of it. I guess we're gonna figure it out as we as we move through it. But we're gonna be moving through it. I'm gonna put the timestamps down below. Emotions are running high. Oh yes, you bet they do. I'm gonna put some timestamps down below again, so that I can fast forward directly to your reading if you don't feel like watching them all, which is understandable. Do we put crystals on them? Yeah. Yes, we will. Since we're going back to heart, yeah, and this one. I give you a bit of time for choosing. I'm not making the introduction of how to choose based on your intuition. Sweetheart, we understand each other, right? If you're an angel, you know. We're not gonna be discussing that. So I'm gonna give you a bit of time. And yeah, I'm gonna get into the first pile. I'm really thirsty when I'm channeling. So, pile number 1. Okay. Pile number 1. Show the world the real you. I mean, again, I feel like the 3 piles gonna resonate with all. However, I'm really being told, no, like leave it as a pick a card. So it's gonna be relevant for some people. So I'm just gonna go with it. But yeah, I definitely, oh, makes so much sense. Got just this one or these 2 ones? I mean, this one is coming up again. So, yep, just gonna leave it there. Do we pick up some other cards? No, not for this pile. Show the world the real you, adjustments are required to be able to make the first move. It's really much a confirmation of this calling that you've been experiencing. My beautiful pile number 1s, or everyone, if everyone's watching them. Honestly, I don't know. We're in the age of Aquarius. We are here to dictate how things are done. We're not here to comply. We're here to show. You know, humanity is trying to figure it out. We're here to assist. That means that angels are here to show the way. You are a leader. You are a way shower. That's why your path has been such a mess so far. Because for as long as you try, it almost feels like Spirit is angry, like giving us a lesson here. For as long as you try to make it work the way that your neighbor does, it means you're not doing it right. You're not here to mimic, you're here to show. What you're here to show, you're asking, you're here to show heavens, you're here to show a taste of what the new earth is like. Well, people don't know what it's like. So of course you you will have to show it yourself without having the example. You are the example. You are the first example in your community. So stop looking left and right for how to do it. This is very much like claiming your power, but literally as in you get it, there's just this sensation of being so exhausted, so tired, and so done with trying. I'm so done trying. I'm so exhausted of always trying and it never working. It's like, yes, it's not meant to work when you try. You're not here to try this and that. Understand that when you quote unquote try, as you say it, in your words, it means that you are looking left and right and seeing what are the opportunities. You have been so far navigating the way the 3D would demand it. That's why it's never worked for you, because you're not a being of 3D to begin with. Your genes, your DNA hasn't been built on 3D foundations. You do not respond to these laws. That's why it's never worked. That's why your path has been such a mess. You are here to show how it's done. You are here to say that's how it's done. And that real confidence comes from knowing yourself. So adjustments are required. It's very much sends us back to how this purge is affecting you. You are letting go of all the doubt, all of the fears, all of the insecurities, all of the lies that we may have been taught and have explored for the sake of better understanding, blah, 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 yada, 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 you already know. All of these lies that taught us, that's how you need to do it. If you don't do it this way, it's not gonna work. That's not true, sweetheart. You get to say what works and what doesn't. If it feels exhausting, if you're leaking vital energy, that means it's not meant to be working this way. Oh, it may be done for them, but guess what? They don't respond to the same rules as you. So if it works for them better, that's not your case. So stop trying. That is very much the lesson. That is the most bold and clear message for you, Panda One, and for anyone really. Stop trying. We are done trying. We're done pretending. We're done looking left and right. We're done comparing. What you are doing is not something that has been made before. You are transmuting your industry. You are creating these new rules. I was watching before like a real Instagram about Adele, which is so unique because she's a singer who like works for 6 months on an album and then just disappears for God knows how many years, because that's how she's decided to do it. And she gets to focus on her family, she gets to focus on rejuvenating and focusing on her creativity. And a lot of people will say, well, that's just the exception. That cannot work. You're not working enough. Truth be told, it's working. Why is it working? Because she's unique, because she's lucky? No, because she isn't apologetic about it. That is just one tiny example that was floating through my mind, but that is very much the thing. It's like, stop trying and stop being. We're not here to try anymore. We're here to be unapologetic. You're here to be unapologetically you and show the world how it's done. Okay? Gonna be moving to pile number 2 now. Second pile. Which one was it? It was this one. That was for the third group, I believe. And for this one, we're gonna be picking up another deck. You know what? Feeling inspired. Okay, pile number 2. What are we discussing about? Gonna be picking up a few other cards already. What do we have for you? Let's see. Different energy here. A little evasive though. Spirit, what's the direction we're going in right now? Okay, I'm gonna be using another deck then, because I'm not having many answers at the moment. Oh, let's take the other tarot. I'm sorry, you're just getting a peek through like my process and how it's intuitive and absolutely not structured. 8 of Swords. That feels like, again, welcoming part number 2. If you've been watching part number 1, which most of you probably have, feels like the continuity of what we were talking about before. Eight of Swords, it's the energy of us feeling stuck, not realizing that we're free. Is very much, yeah, being blinded to the answer, which is nothing to be ashamed of. It's just referring to a situation, especially within the context of what we've been talking about so far. It's understanding that the answer has always been within you, but it has required a lot of patience, a lot of compassion for yourself, because although the answer may be right in your nose, when our mind is populating and our body is still processing density, well, we're not gonna see it, right? When we are temporarily vibrating at a lower frequency, we're not gonna be lining up with that which vibrates at a higher frequency. I know, shocker, but this is very much what we're talking about, as in through when we look back at our experience in the past, what we have realized is that some areas of our lives where we were struggling in. I feel like, yeah, some of us have been struggling with toxicity, toxic relationships. Some of us have been struggling with finances. That's an all-time thing. Some of us have been struggling with safety. Some of us have been struggling with that thing or that thing, this or that. And what we're really seeing is that through this massive purge, we're just letting it all go. We're letting go of the blindfold, realizing that which we already knew, but it was difficult for us to connect with that knowing. It was very difficult for us to connect with that knowing. Although we knew and felt that it was within, we couldn't reconnect with it because we were processing density that was not vibrating at the same frequency. Okay, sure. But that deep knowing really is, it always starts within you. There is no point in chasing out anything outside. Again, it's like, oh, I want this money. If I want more money, I need to do this or this or this or this or that or that. I need to jump on this opportunity. Nah, This way feels so draining, and just the thought of it, of you needing to push through and fight your way forward, is just so exhausting. Because that's not true. It starts within. You know you're worthy. You know you're abundant. You feel it within. Then, when that is the truth, you realize that, oh yeah, you'll feel inspired to take on some actions, but the actions you'll take will be based of inspiration. Some of them may be scary and exciting at the same time, but it will always feel like excitement, passion, inspiration, even if there's fear. It's not oh my god, I am in fear, so I'm gonna act. I'm so obsessed with my fear, and so I need to find a way to get away from my fear. Nah, we're not in a get away mentality anymore. We're in a getting closer. I know within, I've done the work, I've released, I've done this and that. I've discovered within myself the truth, which is I will forever be worthy of the most beautiful, the most ecstatic, the most infinite of love, of abundance, of light. Now that I know it, let's see what opportunities and ideas spring forward, and they will. That is law. You call it manifestation if you want it, that's just law. And that's very much what is currently happening, is we are just letting go through this process. Keep going, by the way, that's a strong message. You know why you've been doing this. It feels like you've been working for so long without seeing any concrete results, and sometimes we all have our darker nights where we're like, oh my god, but why the freak am I even doing this in the first place? Is it building towards anything? Yes. And how do you know that? Because it makes you happy and makes you joyful to come in with the truth that is, it's within you. If you feel good, game's over. You've won. This is very much like what I'm saying here for part number 2 is, you are falling in love with yourself. You are prosperity. I hadn't even read that card. Prosperity sister as happiness and joy. We're talking about prosperity, about finances and all of that. It's very much, we let go of the illusion. We get to feel this within ourselves. We get to feel the worthiness that has never been questioned, but challenged by our old fears. we get to feel it within, then all of a sudden it shows up and we feel inspired and we go. But the idea of acting, taking an action, has taken a completely different turn. A beautiful twist of event, may I add. We're not acting because we're so freaking scared of this or that or that or this, of that lover, or feeling lonely or not having enough of this or whatever. Maybe the area or areas of our lives concerned. We're not taking an action so as to get ourselves out of a hole. We are full within. We feel it within. So the action feels inspiring. Oh yeah, there's that thing. It just feels like an inspiring idea. But the action now is coming from inspiration. It comes from alignment. It feels so uplifting. We're not answering our fears, we're answering our heart. Completely different experience, which is very much what you're here to show the world. And so you get to experience it first for yourself in your life. So obviously, if you've had any form of issue, maybe we were talking a lot about prosperity, but maybe about anything really, know that it's gonna be a long gone bad dream in a few months from now. I'm saying few months because, you know, this transition is taking time and we are processing a lot, so there is the requirement to be patient with ourselves. But it's not as in you will have to wait to get there. Now we're not waiting, it's starting today. Moving on to pile number 3 now. Okay, pila numero 3. Let's see where we go. Pile number 3, all those who were already there. Let's see what we got. It's a beautiful thing, and yes, this will be in the continuity of the 2 previous piles as well. Yeah, of course, obviously, naturally, elementarily, that is obvious. No, pentacles, beautiful. Okay, what do we have here? We're shifting our perspective relative to our dreams and understanding that your dreams are not... I feel like we already discussed that a little bit throughout the collective reading at some point, but yes, we did. The idea that your dreams are... When we're vibrating at a low frequency, our dreams feel like out of reach and they feel like some illusional constructions of our minds. Dreams do not come, like your wildest dreams, your desires do not come from the mind, they come from the higher self. They are visions of the future. It's just you peeking into your future. And so the message here in pile number 3 is very much, oh my god, are we going in hot with that? All that which you have ever desired, you will see how possible that is. We're getting closer than ever to it. We got 2 queens, which is beautiful, beautiful queen energy. It's very much like going back on your throne, whether you're a woman or a man, by the way. We're talking about feminines and masculines, we're not talking about genders. Cups is the realm of emotions and inner peace and tranquility. Wands is the realm of passion, of fiery, of partying, of excitement. What a beautiful combination is it, right? The Hanged Man is just us shifting perspective, and this is very much what I'm seeing is through the purge we are starting to naturally look at life in a different way, realizing that everything already was within us, and that is a challenge that I have you take. Can you think in the past, and the answer is yes, about a moment where for some reason you forgot about your fears for a second, and so you really connected to your dreams and you could really feel yourself there? May you have made a practice out of it, of visualizing yourself there, or maybe you just, or maybe it was just like one night you were dreaming and it felt really good and you just saw yourself there. Yeah, do you notice back then how long ago it was, how natural it felt? Yeah, that's the key word. How natural it felt. That's you, baby. You're seeing yourself. It's like a mirror. The mind will be, no, I don't recognize myself because it's not the same skin color. Oh my god. Well, I'm so sorry, sweetheart. No, that's you. The mind may have been in the past holding on to doubts and fears and whatever, so as to make it not recognize itself in the mirror. But it's you. And that's why it feels so natural, because it's already within you, it's already encoded in your DNA. You're not going anywhere. That's the whole point. Is like, oh my god, I feel like I gotta transform it. Nah, it's you already. It's you surrendering to that which you already are. That surrendering is purging all of the lies which have been standing in the way, realizing that this you've always been. You may not have expressed it so far, sure, but you've always been. That's why it felt so natural. The Hanged Man is very much like shifting perspective here. And that is a very beautiful omen, because it isn't an invitation in this pile number 3. We don't have an invitation to believe in your dreams. We just have an invitation to get ready, because it's gonna surprise us. It's gonna come at a moment we don't notice it, because we got, again, there's a lot of negativity being purged. Obviously, we're not gonna like try and pretend that's not the case. That's the whole point to why this spirit came through today, to assist us through that. But because we got our mind so deeply into the work at the moment, it's gonna take us by surprise, because we're not gonna what I'm hearing is you're not gonna see it coming, because you're so deep in it at the moment. You're so deep in the work that you're not gonna see all of that coming. But it's very much like all the most truest things about you, they're all coming through. There's a huge emphasis on the body and expression, I feel, for some reason. Just you authentically, what is the most wild and authentic version of yourself, that version of you that you see in your dreams. Like you take yourself, you take that person that you call by your name. What is the most badass version of them? Yeah, that person. It's you. But the genes of that person that you're seeing there somewhere in the clouds, well, their genes are yours. The only difference is that theirs are activated in a different way. Some of them are flipped on, some of them are flipped off, and right now some of your genes are flipped on or flipped off the other way around. What is it that tells your genes how to flip on and off? That's right, that's your mind. What are you doing right now? Oh, that's right, you're uncluttering the mind. Do you see where we're going? The clock is ticking. It's a matter of time. It's not a matter of whether you believe it or not. You're way too far gone into this direction for you to avoid it now. You've dedicated your life to assisting your nervous system, to clearing out the lies. It's a matter of time before it just cascades into your life. So the question isn't will it happen, the question is are you ready? Because it will. So that is a beautiful, inspiring message, honestly. So yeah, anyways, I really do wish you all guys to have a fantastic remembrance. We're in for like some really intense moments that will yield to blissful moments. So we're in for the intensity, really. We've experienced the whole intensity of the darkness. We'll get to experience the whole intensity of the heavens. It's gonna hit hard because perhaps our nervous system wasn't used to that so far. But that's very much what I'm seeing for our souls. So yeah, again, this whole message is keep going. You know why you're doing what you're doing. You know why you're feeling inspired, and it's not because it gets intense that it means that you're doing something wrong. Quite the opposite, actually. So keep going. You're killing it. And it's a matter of time before you finally get to meet people who are just like you, okay? That's the last minute message I wanted to come through. Very exciting one, I feel also. So, yeah. Have a fantastic day or evening or night whenever you're watching this. And I wish you all the best. And have fun. Go out there and inspire the whole world now.